Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday. And we are here to discuss the documentary, the docu-series that covers the Twin Flames universe. Now, yesterday we had scattered thoughts conversation that slid way off base. That was pretty much talking about the overarching themes of this cult and what led the people to this cult. But now today we will actually diving into the docu-series and everything involved with that. Now, I will be discussing kind of two docu-series, but it's basically on the same topic. It is the Escaping Twin Flames Netflix docu-series, as well as Amazon Prime Desperately Seeking Soulmate Escaping Twin Flames universe. So both documentaries, look, we escaping. Escaping is in the title. People had to try and get out. Let me see how. Okay, yeah, I read do it like that. Both, like, people were trying to get out. Okay. Oh, wait 1 second. Let me make sure I didn't check my. Okay, we on the microphone. Okay, I had to, that just popped in my head. I had to check that real quick. Now, if you are not familiar, this is basically a cult, the Twin Flames universe, but it is an online self-help matchmaking class that people take to find their twin flame, aka their soulmate. Now, I got a lot of notes on this thing, so we gonna just get right into it. And honestly, the normally, like, look, I wasn't able to get any distinct, cohesive order, but we're here. What's shocking about my IG name? Do you get the reference? So the twins escaped the fire. No. Escaping twin flames, escaping the twin flames. That's what the little cult is called. It's called Twin Flames Universe. So I'm basically I recommend both docuseries. They're both pretty good. I do feel like the Desperately Seeking Soulmate, the one on Amazon Prime, deep dives a bit more than the Netflix documentary. We do not have any friends or family of the Jeff and Shalala who run the cult. We don't have any of their friends and family in the Netflix docuseries, but we do get friends and family in the Desperately Seeking Soulmate. So we get a little more of a deep dive and more of a well-rounded story, but in my opinion, still not quite a well-rounded story. I always be wishing that the culprits would be involved in these docuseries, but of course we know that's not going to happen. Hi, thank you for showing up. Now, I can't get sidetracked with y'all comments tonight. Look, it's nothing but business. So let's get right into it. Escaping Twin Flames. Like I said, I recommend both docuseries. And as I'm going through this, basically talking about information that can be found in both separate docuseries, but since they are covering the same topic, we're just kind of mishmashing it together. So if you are not familiar, Twin Flame is a super spiritual soulmate, someone who is the other half of your soul, an idea that this connection you have spans across multiple lifetimes. And it was kind of funny to me, the examples used in the docuseries, all the people that are attached to this cult. Me personally, I have never heard the term twin flame a day in my life until this docuseries. I've heard of soulmate. Now, they use some examples where actually Ryan Gosling had to file a restraining order on a fan who was convinced that he was her twin flame and was stalking him. And that's kind of the backwards and interesting thing about this whole concept of twin flame, at least per the documentary, per this twin flames universe, is your twin flame doesn't necessarily have to consent. Like, it's very strange. I'm under the impression that if somebody is my soulmate, like, don't that mean I'm theirs? Like, it's reciprocated. But when it comes to the twin flame, you can just solely on your own declare someone your twin flame. It's kind of strange to me. It's kind of like, you gonna be my twin flame, like, whether you want to or not. You pretty much just debo folks to be like, yeah, you are my twin flame, no matter what kind of reservations the other person have, even full on blocking you and not wanting nothing to do with you and filing restraining orders. It does not matter. You're my twin flame. So I thought that was kind of interesting when they were talking about Ryan Gosling and his stalker, because that is basically how this whole twin flame universe is set up. You eye someone, you declare them your twin flame, or not even you per se, is Jeff and Shalala, but you pretty much target this person. They're your twin flame, whether they want to be or not, and you stalk them until you like wear them down and they are on board, which no one really gets on board. So the whole way this network works is basically at the top, we have Jeff and Shalala. They are the ones who are over this cult. They are cult leaders, but they also have what are called coaches within the network. And these coaches are pretty much like the right hand of Jeff and Shalala. They do all of their bidding, and it's kind of strange how it works because you're paying a ton of money. It's like $200 a week or something like that, $2,000 for one course, and there are tons of different courses, right? And you're paying to hear from Jeff and Shalala, but then you also pay for the coaching, which is very strange to me. Like, if I'm paying for Denzel Washington to like mentor me, I don't want to hear from his minions. Like, why am I paying them? It's very odd to me, but that's pretty much how this whole thing is set up, right? And that is a part of the way that Jeff and Shalala make a lot of their money, is signing up for these classes, and also the coaches. They pretty much get regular members and flip them to turn them into coaches. And then they recruit more people to be coaches, and all revenue for Jeff and Shalala. So the way this whole thing is set up is, you pretty much, it is a system of preying on desperate people, exploiting people's vulnerabilities and weakness, and it's really taxing to me what these people have to actually go through in this course. Now, we have one person who was in the twin flame universe who is transgender, and she guy, and she feels like the guy is into her and she's into him, right? And Jeff and Shalala say, that's your twin flame. So the way this whole thing is set up is the games that they play, where you have to do these exercises, because the whole structure is work on yourself and get your twin flame. But this transgender girl, she keeps messaging the twin flame, who never responds, because remember, that's how this is set up. You just declare it and you until you supposedly wear them down, I guess, because it never even gets that far. Like, no one really comes around. So instead of the process being, I'm bothering this person. I'm crossing someone's boundaries. This person wants nothing to do with me. Instead, Jeff and Shalala are able to flip the thought process to, there's something I must not be doing right. I'm not doing a good enough job because my twin flame is avoiding and ignoring my advances. And at first, it seems very odd, but then the way Jeff approaches the words he uses is very much one of those like power of suggestion type of tactics where you pretty much sway the person's thinking. And the way everything works, where they have this mirror exercise, it is pretty much set up where there is no accountability whatsoever on the twin flame universe, on Jeff and Shalala, on their class, on their system. All the fault constantly just leads back to you. It's your fault. It's your lack of work. You have a block. It was something he kept saying to people where he would say, well, that's a block. You have a block. So the mirror exercise is step one, identify the upset. For example, I'm upset with Bob because he is rejecting me. So step two is change all the nouns and pronouns to point to yourself. I am upset with myself because I am rejecting myself. So anytime something negative happens, anytime you're rejected, you do the mirror exercise. And these people would do the mirror exercise for like an hour. So imagine constant reiterations to yourself. I'm upset with me because I'm rejecting myself. I'm hurt because I keep hurting myself. Like you keep kind of reiterating negative thoughts. And what really boggles my mind is step 3 of the mirror exercise is love yourself. Go inside yourself to the place that is upset and love yourself there. What the hell does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? So, if someone is rejecting me, I flip it from them and say, I'm rejecting me. And then I love myself there where the hurt is. Like, am I slow or is that just nonsensical? Like, I don't understand that at all. But they would constantly do this mirror exercise for months, for years. And we had different doctors and stuff that were like coming in on the documentary, and you are literally breaking yourself down mentally. And the more broken down you are mentally, obviously, the more pliable you're going to be to all of Jeff and Shalala's shenanigans and power of suggestion. So it's pretty much, if you are having a problem in your life, the answer is you're the problem. You cause all your problems in your life. That's the logic. And the first thing you learn upon signing up for these classes is the mirror exercise. And I'm just like, baby, let's say I did sign up for the class. It's innocent on face value. You don't know it's a cult. You think, I want to find the love of my life. Let me go pay these people all this money so I could do that, right? But the first step is the mirror exercise. Every problem I've ever had, because how they started off is we have to address like something traumatic in your life. That's the first step when you join this class. So it don't matter what that traumatic event is, all the problems or pain in my life, I've caused it all. Baby, before any of the brainwashing happened, I'd have been in that class like, well, wait a minute now, child. Because like, that just doesn't make any sense. But we have to remember, these are people that are already not of much sound mind. They're in vulnerable places, and they likely have already lived a life of always blaming themselves when something goes wrong, when someone rejects them, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm pretty sure this probably fit right at home with how they are used to coping, but it's under the guise of doing work on yourself to get out all of that negativity. tell us in the documentary that basically Jeff and Shalala would pretty much sit back, pick apart all of your trauma, emotionally take advantage of you, and pretty much have fun while doing it. Jeff tactic is to basically gain your trust and then use the power that he gets over you. Now, something that I thought was sad and interesting was someone that was a former member of the Twin Flames said that breakups are literally the worst thing that can ever happen to you. Now, I thought that was interesting. Yes, breakups are massively painful, can be traumatic. I have had people tell me that when they got divorced, like mourning a divorce is like mourning a death. Like, yes, it is that dramatic. However, when said that a breakup is literally, and y'all know literally is my favorite word. If y'all pay attention to my channel, I always say the word literally. But she said breakups are literally the worst thing that can ever happen to you, bar none. I had to sit with that for a minute, like, hold on now, child. Look, I don't want to name certain things, but I can think of far worse fates than getting broken up with. Like, yeah, that's pretty high on the scale, but it's interesting because that is the state of mind these people are going into this twin flame universe with. That breakups is literally the first most traumatic thing ever, bar any other yada 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 stuff that could happen. So of course they are going to try to follow this course because they never want to go to that worst thing that could ever happen to you. And it's a lot of talk in the documentary from former members of like a fear of I had no choice, I had no control. So I thought that quote in particular was interesting because the more I sit with this documentary, the more I feel like it's not even Jeff and Shalala with the power. They just know how to exploit what people are already afraid of. So I kind of sit back and I'm kind of thinking like, it ain't even Jeff and Shalala that's like the boogeyman that everybody is scared of. It's the loneliness, it's the breakup, it's the wanting of the twin flame. Like, it's all of that accumulated together that's really strong arming these people into this cult. And then, of course, Jeff and Shalala do like the brainwashing. But we are back. Okay, I'm gonna check a few comments and then we're gonna get back on track. How do you pronounce this? Zaya? I only saw the Netflix doc. I had no idea the Prime doc was out there. I gotta watch. Oh, you have to watch the one on Prime. Definitely very well worth the watch. Basically, I don't know if I said this. Basically, there were two different articles that came out exposing the Twin Flames universe a few years ago, and each separate investigative journalist and their article both got a separate documentary. So we have two. And I definitely think you should watch to get like the full scope and the full information. It's Ponzi or pyramid scheme based on emotional exploitation. Yep. Hey, pretty girl Danny. I call BS. Losing someone, passing away is the worst thing that could happen to you. Where's the self-esteem? I'm extremely satisfied being alone in my own company. I'm funny as hell. I wouldn't even say that someone passing away is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. I got one that I think is like the worst thing that could ever happen. But someone passing away is definitely, for me, the hardest or worst thing I've personally ever been through. Netflix one, and in the middle of the Prime one, I keep having to stop it because Jeff is so smug and makes me want to smack his face. Honestly, Jeff didn't bother me. Jeff was way more dork for me. He was just such a dope, such a dork. Sometimes when I watch series like this, the person that is the culprit will make my blood boil. I will just really can't stand them. I didn't get that with Jeff because Jeff was just giving me 12-year-old boy. Literally, that's what he was giving me. Okay, so let's get back on track. Now, what did I do? Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta. Oh shoot, hold on. Let me get my little thing back on the screen. I just edit this little spot out, child. We gotta get back on track. Where is my look? Here we go. My little screen. Okay. So one thing that I feel really helps me, I pretty much equate the people in this cult. Like I said, the more I sit with this documentary, the more some of my thoughts kind of change. And I definitely do not look at these people like they're idiots. They were dumb. Jeff was saying things to these people where, of course, these are things that you would want to hear. You are worthy. You deserve happiness. You deserve great. Someone is telling you all the pretty things that you desire to hear. Jeff was also saying, you will become really strong if you do this. You will become really joyful. You will have a wonderful life. And I think about people going to this in the same way people go to anything. It's kind of how they say God will forgive you, no matter what you do. All your sins get to be forgiven. That's a comforting thought. That is something you want to believe. That is something positive you would like to believe. Oh, no matter what I do, no matter the heinous acts I commit, God gonna still forgive me. So when these people are showing up for this twin flame universe and they're being told you're worthy, if you do this class, if you pay this money, you'll get all the happiness you desire. Those are comforting thoughts. Those are things that you want to believe. So I feel it's very easy to get indoctrinated into something like this, because why would you not want to? Why would you not want to believe it? If you are wanting something so badly, why would you not want to believe the person that says you can have that? But in the midst of kind of building you up with all these pretty things you desire, Jeff would say things like, you're strong now because of what I gave you. I gave you that gift. You signed for it, but without me, none of it would have been done. So on one side, you came to someone for certain things that you wanted, but they're also holding it over your head. You could have never done any of this without me. Now, they showed us basically when Jeff and Shalala do these Zoom classes, it's all recorded, which I was sitting here like, y'all, these classes are like therapy sessions. These people are in these Zoom classes just regurgitating all of their deepest thoughts, desires, traumas, childhood things that happen to them, abuse, etc., and it's all being recorded. Shit, you're not gonna get my deep dark secrets recorded for your use. It's crazy. And then when new members sign up, they get access to recorded classes. Now, in the videos, Jeff would be saying things like, what if you could have your true love? What price would you pay for that? Would $10 million be too much? True love is priceless. What if there was a way to be with your twin flame ever? Click here, pay $2,000. So I look at the words being used, right? At first, I'm asking you about you, right? So then you're in the mode of, oh, I do desire that. Oh, I want a true love. I want my twin flame. And then I hit you with the, what would you do to get it? What would be too much for you to get it? What if I told you you could have what you're desiring? Just click here. Like it's kind of like you're breaking each little step down. You're getting a person in a certain mindset. Jeff is a salesman. Hey, you want this nice refrigerator? Ain't yours always leaking water? Isn't yours not keeping your food cold? And look how nice this one is. Well, how much would be too much to have food in the refrigerator? You know, like it's like he is amping you up and then getting you right in the spot to say, oh, well, what would be too much? What would you be willing to do to get what you're desiring? So it puts you in a position of being like, oh, well, I do desire it. Yeah, I should sacrifice for it. I should, you know what? I can't really afford $2,000, but if I want this bad enough, that's what I should be paying. Now, with this course, Jeff literally says we guarantee. Now, he didn't say money guarantee, child. I clocked that. He didn't say money back guarantee, but he said we guarantee if you complete the course, you will be in harmonious union. That's what the whole twin flame is. You will be in a harmonious twin flame union. So you've just been asked about what you desire. And first of all, you got guided here because what you desire. And then you're told, well, what would you be willing to pay to get it? And then I say, click here, and I show prices, and I guarantee you that if you pay the money and complete the course, you will be in harmonious union. You will get everything you're desiring. I be scared for the world sometimes. I be scared for the people like that I gotta be in the world with. Y'all, Jeff and Shalayla's twin flame universe, they have about 38,000 people in their group from all over the world, child. All kind of walks of life. And what really boggles my mind is the fact that these people are coming to the twin flame universe. They're on these Zoom classes talking about their problems and trauma. And I am so annoyed that the interviewer on the docuseries never once says, well, why didn't you seek a therapist? Why didn't you seek a real mental health professional? Because it wasn't just oh, let me go to a matchmaker, let me try to find a true love. No, these people had real traumas that they were trying to heal and work through with goddamn Jeff and Shalayla. I just do not. It killed me. It killed me that the interviewer never once asked anyone, why the hell did you go to Patty Cake and the Scarecrow to heal your childhood trauma? Why did you not go to a real mental health professional? One girl had been like, trigger warning, she had been molested, she had been abused as a child, violent things happened to her, mother abandoned her, and she in the motherfucking Zoom class with Jeff and Shalayla. And I'm just like, why no to really seek real professional help? Like, oh my God, Lord Jesus. Now it comes to the story of Jeff and Shalala, who Shalala, real name is Megan. And Jeff meets Shalala. And he says something in front of everyone about meeting Shalala when she was sleeping on the floor of a garage and riding a bike through the desert to try to work. I don't know why the hell he just said that to everybody. What I found interesting was I feel like on face value, most people would say Jeff is like the ringleader. Jeff is abusing Shalala. Shalala is also a victim. And I feel like it's really easy to see a male-female couple, especially someone like Jeff, and automatically point to him as the villain and point to Shalala and say she has to be a victim. I feel like Shalala is 1000% completely like this is a partnership. She is on board. Now, that is not to say Jeff isn't abusive to her. Multiple things can be few. I think they are abusive to each other. But we learned in the documentary that Jeff didn't know anything about twin flame, about new age spirituality. Shalala was the spiritual one. Shalala is the one that introduced Jeff to all of this spiritual stuff that became business and his route to being a millionaire. Shalala was the one that brought tapping into people seeking alternative lifestyle, alternative spirituality. Jeff was always very business minded. Jeff was on the internet trying to tell people that he could cure scoliosis and cancer and pink eye and everything and bad breath and athlete's foot and everything. But Megan was the one, or Shalala was the one that brought to him what become his final business that actually boomed for him. So that's why I'm like, I feel like they were both a partnership. She had it's like she had the brand and he had the business sense of how to market it and how to capitalize on it. But I feel like we would not get a twin flame university without both Jeff and Shalala together. And there were even testimony friends that said Jeff completely changed after meeting Shalala. Shalala introduced Jeff to the idea that ended up becoming his entire identity. Now, Jeff starts off selling a cure for cancer, and it ends up selling true love. But it is all the common thread of selling something that vulnerable people would be desperate enough to buy. Obviously, if you have something like cancer, and if nothing is working with medical professionals, you're going to be desperate to go into whatever could, be told to heal you. If you're lonely, desperately seeking a soulmate or a twin flame, you're going to go to whatever someone is selling, saying, I can get this for you. Now, we had Jeff's childhood friend and a few ex-girlfriends talking about how Jeff was the class, how Jeff was charismatic, how one ex was saying how she was enamored with Jeff from the beginning. Certain ex-members would say that that's how they felt about Shalala, how she had all these traits. They wanted to be outgoing. They wanted to be comfortable with themselves. And they wanted this spark that they felt Jeff and Shalala had. And that's the people that we tend to gravitate towards. Those are the people that it is always to me how someone charismatic can be in a leadership role that they're not even qualified for. Like if you can just talk well, if you're just fascinating, people will like vote for you. They will like pick you to be in a leadership role. And that is pretty much the role that all of these followers put Jeff and Shalala in. They had no freaking credentials. Which, I mean, you selling spirituality, but the hell credentials you gotta have. And I think somebody says that in the documentary. It might be somewhere later in my notes where someone was talking about like you literally like don't even need credentials. You can just pop up and just say, hey, God told me XYZ. Because that was a part of the spiel as well. Now, we get into some of the former members. And somebody that I have mixed feelings on this one ex-member who was also one of the coaches named Keely. She introduced her younger sister Marley to the Twin Flames universe. Now, Keely met a guy, had a great relationship, was in love with him. He broke up with her. She's heartbroken. She's in love with him. She's looking around on the internet. She comes upon Twin Flame, and she feels like that ex was her twin flame. She joins Jeff and Shalala's little club class because to these people, they're not in a cult. Now, Jeff ends up telling her that was your twin flame and ends up reaching out to the ex, sharing these classes, and he ends up feeling like all these classes and everything that's being said by Jeff is resonating with him. Him and Keely get back together. Now, they're in their twin flame harmonious union. Now, the younger sister, Marley, just turned 18 years old, fresh out of high school, introduced to twin flames. Cannot get more vulnerable mentally, emotionally than where to where Marley is when she finds this group. Haven't even created her own identity yet. Don't even know who she is yet. Fresh out of high school and into adulthood, young adulthood. And Jeff is selling to his followers that him and Shalala are the only ones who can confirm who your twin flame is, because the reasoning is we're the only ones that can confirm who your twin flame is because we're in harmonious marriage. We're in a harmonious union. Hold on now, bro. Back that up. One thing that, oh Lord, anytime people are saying things like this, I just feel like questions gotta be asked. Like we can't just be taking. I will never forget when I had a homegirl dating this guy. And I swear, y'all, she called me. I'd be so happy my friends will watch my YouTube channel, child. But she called me crying her eyes out. And I'm just like, what? What did he do? Did he hit? Like what? Y'all, she was crying because old boy told her that God told him he was the one she was meant to marry and be with. When I tell y'all, I wanted to slap fire out this girl. I'm just like, I could tell you God told me you supposed to give me $1 million motherfucking dollars. Like anybody can say God told me something. But she was crying. Like, oh, but I don't want to. But no, that's not who and I'm saying, like, girl. I have had people try to like feel like they're, you know, like a Jeff, like a spiritual, and I'm connected to God, try to tell me. So, you cannot tell me nothing about me or what I'm supposed to do in my life. If there is something God is saying, he'll say it to me, period. I don't have to be no divine guru, divinity, I don't even know the words. Like I'm that far from like any religion. I don't know the words for these people. What are these folks called? Okay, I don't have to be the New Age Buddha. Like I don't even know. Like, look, I don't even know what these people is called. But I don't have to be that. If there is anything that God or the spirits or the universe or whatever the new age spirituality is there's anything that needs to be told to me, baby, they'll tell me. They ain't gonna tell you to tell me, because first of all, the universe gonna know I ain't finna listen to your ass. So why the hell would they send a message through you? But it is so astonishing to me that 30,000 people is accepting that only Jeff and Shalayla can tell you who your twin flame is. Baby, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me what type of cereal I'm supposed to get. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Especially something like this. I wish somebody would. Like, you know what? I need a journalist, and I need to infiltrate little meetings like this so I could just be trying to speak up so people could kind of try to get their thought process going. And then when you say the reasoning is we're the only ones that can point this out and can tell you because we're in harmonious union. Well, baby, how we know? We only see you on the Zoom call and your YouTube videos. How we know you in harmonious? How we know what happened when you start recording? And even if you are in harmonious union, what that got to do with me and my union? Absolutely nothing. But that is what Jeff was selling to these people. We have what you want. So listen to us. And this is where them credentials come in, child. Because listen to you for what? Now, Marley bought all of this. She said she felt like she should listen to these people and trust them because they had the relationship that everybody wants. Want the harmonious union, the twin flame. Jeff and Shalayla have it. Now they end up having this like first in-person meetup for the twin flame universe. And this is when Jeff first introduces the term soul family. And this is also why it's so believable to me, and it doesn't feel idiotic that these people fell into what they fell into, because everything was kind of gradual. It didn't all happen at once. We in these little classes, we're told and taught to work on ourselves, and Jeff and Shalayla will tell us our twin flame. Like, it don't start getting real batshit crazy. It don't start really escalating yet. Then Jeff introduces the term soul family. Your soul family is your real family and your only family. And he starts cutting people off from their family. And of course, that's the number one thing you do is isolate people. Take people from friends and family. But it ain't like they just joined Jeff's group and he said, cut your parents off. So if you're already listening to him, believing him, hanging on to his every word, you truly believe he has this divine, I don't know, child, pipeline to God, you gonna still be getting reeled in when the demands start escalating and getting crazier and crazier and crazier. I remember my aunt telling me when I was younger, like a teen, never tell a new guy the stuff you let the ex guy get away with, because you're pretty much telling him all the stuff he could do, right? And pretty much you're giving people a starting point. Oh, well, if she let me get away with this, let me take it to the next step. And let me take it further. And let me take it further. And that is basically what Jeff does. Let me see if these people will let me tell them who the twin flame is. Let me see if these people will let me get them to harass somebody. Let me see if these people will let me tell them what to eat and how to eat. Let me see if these people will. He keeps testing how much power and control he has over these people. You don't start off going to the extreme. You start off really pretty small. Let me see if I could change how this person wears their hair. Let me see if I could get them to change their outfit if I say I don't like it. And you keep, oh, they let me do that. Oh, they let me do that. Oh, they let me do that. And you just keep escalating. So it really does not feel to me like, oh, these people are just foolish. Because it was all just a gradual, let me see what I could get away with. Let me see what these people let me tell them to do. Let me test how much power I got over them. Now, Jeff and Shalala at this meeting ends up where anytime they try to tell somebody who their twin flame is, and this is some more stuff that I'm just like, just the way my mind works. I gotta break stuff down. Jeff and Shalala trying to tell you who your twin flame is, it would typically be like somebody you have already made contact with. And I feel like it's real easy to just point at a random woman and say, no, it's some guy that done tried to talk to you recently. Y'all, you don't even have to be an attractive woman. There is always a man trying to talk to you if you out in the world. I was out with my dogs. So that, you know, when you a dog owner, sometimes you just go out looking crazy because dogs got to go use the bathroom. When I tell you, I had on mismatched clothes. I had on these fluffy socks with some old dusty slides. My bonnet was on and it was crooked. Like I was out there looking crazy. Baby, the UPS delivery guy delivering to my neighbor like 4 houses down, go come over trying to, I'm out there looking busted. So if I hop into Jeff and Shalala class 2 days later and they say, there's someone in your life, there's someone trying to, you know, be in contact with you. I'd be sitting there like, no, it's not. So no one has tried to talk. Because this is exactly how Jeff would say. So no man has tried to talk to you. I mean, well, the UPS guy, that's your twin flame. He would literally do that. That is so easy. 9 times out of 10, someone has tried to say something to you. Specifically if you're a woman. Like maybe women are more bold these days and are approaching men, but especially if you're a woman, because traditionally men approach women, there is somebody approaching you. That is so easy. And I also feel like some felt like a setup. Some felt sneaky. We're in this meeting and Jeff focuses on Marley. He calls her out in the meeting. Have you met anyone? No, you haven't? And that kind of made me feel like, the example I just gave, 9 times out of 10, I swear I'm sure I could point to a random female sub and be like, has any man tried to talk to you? Y'all, it's just so easy. But it also felt like a setup because when he said, has anyone tried to talk to you? And she said, no, he's like, no one has? It was some random guy that messaged her on Facebook that was in the Twin Flame Universe Facebook group. And I was feeling like, did Jeff have this man message Marley? Or was it just the typical, Marley was a very pretty girl. So I'm like, was it just the typical, oh, this is a pretty girl. I know some man in the world has tried to talk to her. I couldn't tell which one it was, but no matter what it was, it was fishy. So he hones in and says, that's your twin flame. Some random Facebook that messaged her. And it is astonishing the things that people will talk themselves into, the things that people will go along with, which we do in our everyday lives. If the group want to do a certain, it's a lot we just go along. But poor Marley is saying how she did not like this person. She felt like this man looked creepy. She wanted nothing to do with this man. But she's in the goddamn meeting crying tears of joy because, I don't know, tears of misery. She was in there crying. With the facade, it was tears of joy. And everybody cheering. The guy name was Josh. Oh, Joshua is the twin flame. You don't know this man from a can of paint. You don't know him from a billy goat. But everybody cheering he the twin flame. Now they end up, this is who she's matched with. Let me tell y'all how dirty Jeff did pull a 18-year-old fresh-faced Marley. The man that is put with her as her twin flame is schizophrenic, bipolar, criminal, which no disrespect to criminals, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving you the rundown. He can't leave his state because he on probation. It's like and most importantly, he's a stranger. And Marley is saying how there was pressure from the start to move things along. And we're seeing video, they end up having this poor girl, 18 years old, move to this stranger state to stay with him. And this, I'm saying, I wish we deep dive more because there were quite a few people, Marley, Kaylee. No, what was it? Yeah, Kaylee. It was quite a few people that I felt like it was holes in a story. Not holes in a story as if they were lying, but holes in the story as if they were holding back details. There was a point in the documentary where Marley is recounting things and she says, this is getting too hard to think about. I need a moment. And I'm immediately thinking of some type of essay, whether forced or coerced, because this is a young, pretty girl. The guy was like, oh Lord, I can't remember. Do I have in my notes how old this man was? He was like 12 years older than her. So you got this young 18-year-old girl. You got this man that's about 30 years old. You move into his house. And the way Jeff operates with the twin flame and all the rules is the man, he just pretty much has access to your body. You are not allowed to say no. It was a lot that I felt like people wasn't giving, which that's your private, but I'm just saying, full rounded documentary, I felt like it was a lot we were not getting. It felt like it was a lot that wasn't being said. We see video of Marley and her Joshua guy doing the update for the class. And I don't know if it's just, I'm like, baby, they did not, she ain't look happy to me. And she's talking about how she was terrified to go to the state to live with him, but she didn't have a choice. It's a lot of people saying they didn't have a choice. And that's why I say I kind of got mixed feelings on Keely, because Keely is simultaneously a victim and a perpetrator. She's like a victim and a victimizer. Ain't that the word, victimizer? And to Keely's defense, I do believe that at the beginning, I don't believe it for all the story, but I believe that at the point where she brought her sister on, I do think that she was doing it with, I think that the early on, when she brought on her younger sister, she genuinely thought that the twin flame universe was a good thing and all this was a good thing. And we saw Keely as in the class cheering when her sister was paired with a damn stranger from Facebook. Made me sick. And Kobe and Keely, after 2 months of dating, Jeff announces Kobe and Keely are marry each other. That gotta be the strangest engagement announcement I have ever heard. I have never in my life heard of, even if you're the people that don't want to have a wedding, I have never heard anybody say, we've agreed to marry each other. And this is part of I feel like there's holes in the story. Now, when we have the couple I was talking about yesterday, the lesbian couple, when he was calling the lady and the man and trying to get her to change to a man, we know that Jeff texts people pressuring them to do stuff. I'm immediately thinking, did Jeff cause pressure Keely and Kobe into getting married? Because the whole agreed to marry each other. Am I tripping? That sounds odd. Nothing about that sounds romantic. That sounds like him pressuring them and then they eventually saying, yeah, we'll do it. And Keely tells us about the wedding day, but she never tells us about the engagement. She never tells us how, when Kobe proposed to her. Look, this is just speculation. But the evidence at hand is telling me that Jeff got them to get married. And we also know from the documentary that Kobe and Keely were kind of like his poster child couple. Like they were the couple that had, see, I told you our program worked. Look at Kobe and Keely. They're in harmonious union. I told you. So if he's feeling like that's what they are for his business, why would he not be the one to say, y'all niggas need to get married? It for the look. And he would, we also know that he would pressure Keely saying things like, you have a harmonious union. Don't you want to help other people have a harmonious union? Aren't you grateful for what you have? It makes me feel like pressuring was done. Because am I wrong? Or has there never been an engagement? I guess out of an arrangement. I feel like they don't even announce an arranged marriage like that. Like, who announces getting married by saying the two people agreed to marry each other? Okay, we're going to take a little intermission, see what's happening in the comments. I can't believe Jeff pressured them to marry. They needed couples to prove the whole twin flame thing works. Precisely. And Keely details in the documentary that they were like the poster child couple. Keely went from regular student to coach to harmonious union. That was good for business. What about when Khloe and Lamar announced their engagement after like 9 days and all the other Kardashian clan couples not romantic in any way? I cannot remember how Khloe, I remember that time I was watching a reality show then, but I cannot remember how announced. However, when it comes to celebrities making those like joint statements, I would have to look something up and see, but I don't think they say Khloe and Lamar have agreed to marry. I don't think so. She still brought around his felon having as cross state lines. Nah, I click exit meeting on Jeff and order some food and watch a movie. Discernment is strong over here with me. Yeah, but I feel like we have to factor in the fact that she was young. She was only 18 years old. And I feel like we can't underestimate people that are isolated, people that have no support system. No aunt, no uncle, no cousins, no siblings. Well, the only sibling you got is in with the coat. Like she was just 18, isolated by herself. A narcissistic abuser. That happiness or love seems superficial and transactional. You do one thing and in return you finally earn the very thing you wanted so badly, when most of the time it's you in your own way. I agree with the happiness or love seems superficial, but in my opinion, I think all love is transactional. But I agree with the sentiment. I agree with this whole, you do one thing so that in return you get a certain thing. And we're going to get into that. Yeah, they take advantage of people who are just lonely and want love, super sad and predatory. And see, that's what I mean. Like, I feel so sad for these people. And it's like, I can't relate, but it hurts my heart to think that, and it's not like, I mean, in any capacity, I feel like people don't deserve to be like scammed, taken advantage of, et cetera, et cetera. But this isn't a scheme where I said, hey, invest in some real estate and I'll get you some money. Hey, I got a business idea. Like, this is a scheme where you have people that just wanted love, that just wanted companionship, that had hardships in life and wanted like a rainbow at the end of the storm. Like, these are people that were fragile, that were broken, and they were looking for something positive, for something to make them whole, because that's not how they felt. So that makes me sad. That recording sessions is like what they do in Scientology too. That's kind of crazy. Like, I even be feeling weird when I watch a movie or something and the therapist is you ain't finna record me. Like, you not finna record me, child. I can't do it. People would really spend thousands of dollars on this instead of therapy. And see, was the thing that I was like, I'm look, baby, I need the interviewers to really be on this ish, because I wanted somebody to answer that question. Why did you not pay for therapy instead? Why did you not go to a licensed mental health professional? At least your thoughts would be private with one person that you can leave at any time and switch therapists. Agreed. They are oh yes, Shalala and Jeff, I definitely feel are equals. My paranoia and skepticism would have me question everything about them and never disclose anything. I'll listen to other people's problems, the credentials they have, still won't trust them. Danny, let me tell you, paranoia will keep me from a lot, because I'm the same. I'm the same. Nah, my G. Yeah, that one mom of the twin in the Netflix one broke my heart. You can tell it's killing her. Yes, yes. We had a family that was given for members that are still current members and disconnected from their family. Oh no, I have to, yes. Watch later on replay, Miss Kira. She still, oh, we read that one. Okay, so let's get back on track. Now, Keely, with this whole marriage with Kobe, is telling us how a lot of the things that she did, she felt like she had to do, not just for Jeff and Shalala, not just for her relationship, but also because the community was relying on her to do those things. And she goes to tell us about the wedding day, and I don't know, am I the only person really hang on to the words that people use. I feel like I am very precise, like direct. Like I am going to just say, when people say things, I take it as how you're saying it. Keely is talking about her wedding day, and she says, I was somewhat happy, and I felt like everyone was celebrating our union. You had an ex that you were in love with. You couldn't get over them. You seeked out something for that. You came to Twin Flame Universe. You signed on because of the promise of being able to have a harmonious twin flame union. You finally get that, and you were somewhat happy. So is this the harmonious union you are dreaming of? And that is what was also blowing my mind. I completely get, I'm finna sign up, I'm finna pay $2,000 so I want a harmonious union. But the thing that I could not wrap my head around was, once you got this union, nobody was motherfucking harmonious or happy. Like, is this what y'all were dreaming of? That was blowing my mind. If I am going to be sold a dream, I get it. I get being sold a dream. But once you get the product and it ain't that dream, how do you goddamn continue to play along? That is basically what these harmonious unions were. People just playing along. And that drove me crazy. I completely get it up until we get there. Nobody was happy in their harmonious unions. Nobody. They were faking like they were happy. They were pretending like they were happy, but nobody was happy. And I'm sitting here like, before y'all joined this group, you laid your head down at night and you were unhappy, unfulfilled, sad, lonely. Now the group, you're laying next to your dream. When you lay your head down at night, are you now fulfilled, happy, satisfied? No. And I just did not understand. And I feel like my brain be about to explode because I need stuff to make sense, but humans don't make sense. They don't. Keely goes on to tell us that her relationship with Kobe was not harmonious. That was her exact words. My relationship with Kobe was not harmonious. But you signed up because you were sold the dream of having a harmonious twin flame union. But your twin flame union was not harmonious, but you continued to play along like it was. And this is also why I say I have mixed feelings about Keely. You continue to sell people on something that you knew was fraudulent. I gotta put you as just as bad as Jeff and Shalayla. I'm sorry, baby. I do. Now, on the victim, you have my deepest empathies. But I gotta pair you with Jeff and Shalayla. She talks about feeling a responsibility to the community, but you were deceiving that very community felt a responsibility. And you were abusing that very community that you felt a responsibility to. Now, this is some of the stuff that makes me think there was some type of essay with Marley. Keely goes to how Kobe felt entitled to her body. That Jeff and Shalayla described. Jeff and Shalayla was insane. I was just look. Jeff and Shalayla would talk about twin flame sex as like an ascension tool. And him and they showed us video of Jeff and Shalayla talking about their sex. And when I tell you, Jeff was not giving me charismatic. Jeff was giving me dork. Jeff was giving me the guy that ain't never had a girl. Like he was giving me nerd in the worst way. Like not good nerd. Like he was giving me lame. Jeff would be sitting there. And it was a few times they showed us like clips of him doing this. He would be talking about his sex with him and Shalayla. And he would start like, what is that? What is that called when horses be like, ee! Like horses do that little thing? Neighing? Is that what it's called? Jeff would do that. And I'm like, are you like simulating how Shalayla sound when y'all, it was insane. He is such a weirdo. Like I don't even feel like as I'm watching it, like when I was watching the Our Father documentary, I was mad. Like my blood was boiling. When I was Stay Sweet, Pray and Obey, my blood was boiling. Like I wanted to punch niggas in their face. Like the perpetrators. But when I look at the perpetrators in here, like I just laugh. Like there's Jeff and Shalayla for me are like such a joke that I halfway be like, if you fall for anything these idiots like say, like he was so lame. They were such a joke. But Keely was telling us how Jeff pretty much subscribed for everybody in this twin flame universe that men need sex every day. And if your man wants sex, you cannot say no. There was never an option to say no. And I wanted the interviewer to pull out of Keely. I wanted her to say, Kobe, S.A., hard R, like he blanked me. Because that is basically what you are insinuating, but she never says it. I feel like it was hoes in Keely's story. I feel like not hoes as in lying, hoes as in omitting facts. I feel like they were insinuating and happening amongst this community. Because if you say things like, entitled to my body. We're told men want sex every day, and if your man wants sex, you can't say no. Sex can't say no equals hard R word. So why not just say? But I feel like, and that's why I say I have mixed feelings. Keely does have what seems to me as genuine guilt, and Keely is the one that pulled Kobe into this cult. So maybe she feels some level of guilt, responsibility, it being her fault. I asked for it, like the traditional stuff that a victim may think, but also because they were indoctrinated and mind controlled with this damn mirror exercise. But I wanted her and Marley to like say this happened, because I feel like that is a part of the culture of this twin flame universe. Very dangerously misogynistic. Jeff is on tape telling a story about going up to Shalayla, kissing her, trying to get her to have sex. Shalayla keeps saying, and the way he would be like, I went up behind her and she said, no, I don't want to do this. And I threw her on the bed and I jumped on top of her. And she said, no, get off me. And I'm sitting here like, and he's saying this to the Zoom class. Baby, give me my $2,000 back. Because that sounds like the hard R word. Like him retelling that story for this muskin Zoom. I'm sitting here like, how far deep are we in this one? Because when they play the tapes for us, we don't really know the order, the timeline. They're just playing clips. So I'm like, how deep in this class? How deep in this group were we? When Alita was describing S.A. and his wife, like that is so, and Shalayla is sitting next to him as he's saying this story. She was saying no, and I threw her on the bed, and she's like next to him, smiling and laughing. And the whole scene is just really disturbing. And I was so confused. I'm like, I need context. because I'm trying so hard to be on y'all side and give y'all a lot of grace for falling for this scam. But how far were we? How deep were we when the leaders was regaling us with this sick ass story? Because I'm really trying to give y'all grace. Like, I'm really trying. But the second I hear this story, I'm like, yeah, let me go file a dispute with my credit card company and tell them my card got stolen. I don't know who the hell charged my card for no twin flame universe. Like, let me get my money back. Let me get the hell out of here. Keely tells us that if she did not want to have sex with Kobe, she would feel really shameful and guilty. Go do the mirror exercise. Jeff promised Kobe that Keely would give him as much sexual pleasure as he wanted. First of all, how the hell you promising I'm gonna do? Like, how you promising my body? But that's why I say I have mixed feelings about Keely. As a victim, I sympathize. But she was coaching other people. You were pulling other people into this situation. You are recruiting people when you knew the practices of this group. Okay, you didn't recognize it was a cult, but you recognize that there was a culture of if the man want to have sex, the woman isn't allowed to say no. Why were you bringing people into this? And then, of course, like, she's regaling us with stuff, but some stuff you got to kind of fill in. Keely was a coach. We already hear from former members about being abused by their partner, being abused by the man, and going to their coach, and the coach would say, he choked you, go do the mirror exercise. So we have to fill in the blank and know that Keely, as a coach, had women in the group call and say, he jumped on top of me, I said no, he choked me, and she had to say, go do the mirror exercise. It was your fault. So I do genuinely feel like Keely's guilt does seem real. It really does. And Paula Keely finally got out the group and said she had to learn how to think for herself. So I'm very empathetic to her. But you was a perpetrator, babes. Now, Pola Tink, Pola Marley, and
Power off.
What I tell you, Ashley? Oopsie. So my Bluetooth speaker was still on, and my gossip was sending me a video chat because my phone is not locked. And I hope the audio, the mic didn't catch up because she's talking about somebody, and I don't. Even though my friends don't watch this, I don't need it on the internet. But I'm gonna have to go back and make sure she wasn't caught on the microphone. But okay, before we jump to Marley and finish up Marley and Joshua, let me intermission for a second and check the comments. Have you seen Stolen Youth documentary on Hulu? You know what? That is supposed to be next up. I actually watch it today, but I have a hard time with essay stories, with hard R-word stories. Have y'all ever heard of that show, I Survived? I Survived is basically like a one of those kind of true crime kind of shows where but a victim telling the story of what happened. And it's literally a bunch of men like, I got caught in the avalanche. I was hiking and the bear attacked me. And it's literally every single woman being like, I was walking to the store and somebody like essayed me. I was sitting here like every single story for the women is like an essay story. I had to stop watching it. I was crying on every goddamn, like I have a hard time listening to like explicit stories of essay happening. And if I'm thinking of the right documentary that's on Hulu, it's about the kid who dad like got all his college friends, right? That's the Stolen Youth one. I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be. So I went to watch it earlier today, but instead I watched that new Exorcist and I saw The Nun too. Like I saw both of those instead. That's supposed to be next up, but I don't know if that's something that I can sit through. I have a hard time with that. Um I just watched the Netflix show. I think you should definitely. I think these are very good companion pieces. I definitely think you should watch them both. You definitely get different testimonials. The people that are talking, the ex members in Escaping Twin Flames, are not the same as the people that are giving testimonials and Desperately Seeking Soulmate, minus the transgender girl, the trans woman. She's the only one in both. Everyone else is all new people, and it's based on two different investigative journalist articles. So one journalist is in one journalist is in the other. Chat, yes, cue the Law and Order SVU theme song. I hate that the documentaries tiptoed around the essay 1000%. And I feel like it is on the people doing the documentary, it is on the interviewer. You can tell where the victim is like leading you. So yes, it's traumatic, yes, it's hard, but I feel like if you are signing up to do a documentary, you have to challenge the person giving testimony. You have to kind of push them to say stuff that they may not freely say, but you're signing up to do a documentary. You need to be given a full story, in my humble opinion. I would have busted out laughing and been disgusted at the same time. At that time, I'm talking about, y'all. It was so. Jeff is sitting there like, the sex we have, we are sin, and it's a bunch of. And I'm saying like, what the heck? It was, and I'm just sitting here like, what woman would give Jeff any play? Like, he is just so lame. That's funny because it seems like 9 out of 10 cults end up as sex cults. Yeah. Jeff is not my type of charismatic. What was drawing them to him? Yeah, I am very thrown at Jeff being charismatic. But that is what everyone says. He was a jokester. He was funny. He was charismatic. Yes, Jeff was basically selling to people that the twin flame sex is an ascension tool and is also used to heal the blocks. It was a lot of talks about these blocks that I can use context clues, but I really wanted them to break it down and they didn't. Why not out the whole operation if you weren't happy and knew the union was a sham? That is the hard-hitting questions that I wanted them to ask. I am completely on board, understanding, empathetic to the fact that you're sold a dream. But what boggles me and I have a hard time wrapping my head around is once you get your dream deferred, why are you going along with the sham? And then going along with selling other people false dreams. I have a real hard time with that one. Hi, KD. Thank you for joining. Okay, so it's not just me. I cannot watch I Survived. It is literally just essay story after essay story after essay story. And then it's a man that survived the plane crash and it's essay story after essay story. I cannot do it. Like, goddamn. Okay, I was remembering the right one. Yeah. Yeah. So if y'all have another docu-series that I or document, well, oh yeah, I do have another one, Mother of God. What was it? It's some Mother of God or something like that. That's on my HBO Max. That if I can't watch The Stolen Youth, that one was gonna be next. Because I don't know, Stolen Youth might be hard. Yeah, I can't watch true crime, especially against women, children, and animals. It gets me down too much. I'm talking about it. This like it messes with my spirit. Like I like to just be happy. Like even if I'm watching true crime and people is getting murdered, but if it's like some real deep ish, I have a hard time. Like I more so enjoy watching like true crime docu series that I can get a little either fun out of because it's so like insane, like it's such insanity, or it's one of those like people studies that I like to really think on, like Escaping Twin Flames. But if it's something that's really like dark, yeah, I have a hard time with that. that's pretty hard. Now, Marley and Joshua, her ex-felon stranger, 12 years her senior, 18 years old, living together, and they get together in the class. And this is what Jeff does. He asks you a question, and then he will sway your answer, or he'll tell you your answer. Marley and Joshua are in the class, and Jeff says Marley and Joshua have achieved harmonious union. And Marley is like, we have? Jeff is telling you that you've achieved harmonious union. Poe baby was never happy. Marley tells us it was not harmonious even for a second. Now, after saying in class that the life that Joshua has chosen is really dark, Jeff ends up saying to Marley, your union with Josh, your relationship with Josh isn't hurting you unless you want it to. Remember, no matter what happens, it is always your fault. So Marley is unhappy. Like Marley was in an abusive relationship, but she would not say that. And she's telling us that she was pressured to post about the relationship, post happy pictures, keep up the facade. And Joshua, whole relationship, they had to pretend to be like this envious couple. They had to be that harmonious union to show everybody else you can get this. And again, now I'm gonna give Marley a lot of grace because she was 18, 19, 20. I think she was with this man for like 2 years. So started off at 18. I'm gonna give her a lot of grace because she was real young. But I got the same issue with Marley as I do with Kaylee and all the other on the facade. Why are we selling people fake dreams? Because it's not just that I'm stuck in a relationship that I ain't happy in. That's one thing. But I'm stuck in a relationship, I'm miserable, but I'm selling to people that this is a harmonious twin flame union that you two can have if you give Jeff $2,000 for the class. Now, Marley just keeps crying and trying to tell Jeff about the relationship. And she's telling him that, Josh is bipolar, he's schizophrenic, things are happening. And Jeff ends up telling her, well, as far as Josh's mental disorder, well, if he had a really high, happy and supportive, loving environment that was consistent, he could actually work through this. So basically, it's your fault that he's schizophrenic and bipolar, and he could really work through and get over it if you were doing your work. So everybody is just stuck in cycles of abuse. And it keeps being mirrored that it's all your fault. So that's why I'm like, I'm giving Marley a lot of grace because first of all, she was young. Second of all, she was in an abusive situation with the whole damn TFU, the whole community, not just the relationship. Now, y'all, I've been trying to really try to really deep dive and really think and put myself in people's shoes and not just call people an idiot. But when I tell y'all, we had somebody on who ain't have the sense God gave a doorknob. We get introduced to this girl, L. The biggest example of so smart but so dumb Elle was working in like bioengineering, curing cancer. Like, I feel like that's like genius level. She was in a great relationship, but then she gets into a car accident, is real messed up, has to have 3 surgeries. I guess it's too much for the boyfriend. He breaks up with her when she gets in this accident and she's in a hospital. And she tells us, despite being a scientist, she turned to spirituality as like a last chance. Again, that's why I say I do definitely understand why all these people went to Jeff group. The same reason people go to any religion, any group, etc., etc. Now, fast forward, Jeff ends up telling Elle that ex that abandoned you when you was in the accident, that's your twin flame. That's who you should be with. Marley is another person that had a lot of holes in their story, but where I felt like the holes in other people's story was not dishonesty, it was omitting. Look, I ain't want to call nobody no liar, but baby, Elle had some holes and some logistics wasn't adding up. 1 + 1 was not equaling to 2. Elle tells us that Jeff told her the restraining order that her ex had on her wasn't real. Now, hold on now, baby. The way it flows, it sounds like the ex had a restraining order before Elle had anything to do with this group. And now we know the group encourages and gets you to stalk, but baby, Elle tells us that when she's in, I can't remember where she was, but she's in a certain city. She don't know nobody but the ex. Baby, why Elle is at the ex's apartment when he walk in the door and he's surprised to see her there? Like, Elle was giving me Joe from You. Like, I don't know what. Look, something was not adding up. But she tells us that Jeff was trying to convey to her the restraining order isn't real. And she says that even though she was not in a relationship with the ex, she was encouraged to pretend like she was. She was encouraged that his boundaries were not real. Elle says she was pushed to contact the ex, violating the legal restraining order. You're a motherfucking scientist. You're smart enough to know you are a restraining order and what that means. So stuff wasn't adding up, and how they continue to not add up. Elle goes to tell us, it was my 30th birthday, and I decided to go out dancing. And the one place in this whole big city that I just randomly decided to go, the man that has a restraining order on me happened to be there too. Now, I'm not calling nobody a liar, and I'm not saying coincidences are not real, but something about Elle don't sit right for me. Something about Elle. If this was my documentary, I'm either omitting Elle because I need people that's going to be truthful, or I'm going to hit her with a lot more questions because someone right in the Kool-Aid. So Elle tells us she just so happened to be at the same little club, fist pumping, beating the beat up like Jersey Shore. And the man that got a restraining order on her, she has admitted that she was violating the restraining order, happens to be there. He sees her. She says the ex thought I followed him there. Okay, Elle girl, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, okay? He calls the police. And this is also why I feel like her story is weird. He calls the police. They get to the club. They handcuff Elle. They drag her out. I need to, let me be the interviewer. I need information. What is the response time for the police? Was a squad car sitting right outside the club? Because if I walk into a place and somebody has a restraining on me, I'm walking my black ass back out. Because by being in here, it don't matter if it's a coincidence or if I knew they was here. By being here, I am violating a legal protective order. So I'm sitting here like, baby, how the hell was there time for him to call the police, for the police to come and to drag your ass out? Something about L's story just was not adding up. But I ain't calling nobody no liar. I'm not. Now, L gets to jail, and she only has 2 numbers memorized. The ex who she stalks. Please don't call the person you stalking from jail, baby. And her mother, who she had already cut her family off because Jeff told her that her mom and them was demonic and evil. So Elle decides to sit in jail for like a month. Something about this story don't add up. I'm sorry. I don't care what I've done. I'm not sitting my ass in jail. I'm calling the mama I cut the hell off. I cut her off. She ain't cut me off. That means I could call. But Elle says she sat in jail and she did the mirror exercise for a month, I guess. She ends up finally, after a month, calling her parents. She goes back to live with her parents and back to the Twin Flames universe. I'm trying to give grace, but sometimes you gotta call a dummy. Come on, Elle. Come on, girl. You is in bioengineering, baby. You in the lab trying to get cancer cells to die. I need to see credentials. Was Elle really in there curing cancer? Is she in bioengineering? Because nothing is making sense. I get my dumb ass thrown in jail because apparently I'm following Jeff and his twin flame universe. I get out of jail and go right back to the twin flame that got my ass locked up. It just don't make sense for me. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? I'm just speculating. But look, baby gives me stalker, like real for real, hiding in the bush. Because I wish the hell I would break up with you and come home and you in my motherfucking apartment. Like that is so. Come on, baby. And for me, I mean, am I remembering the events wrong? This happened pre-Twin Flame universe. You popped up in baby apartment before you even knew anything about Jeff Nim. Elle reminds me of the documentary I did where the guy would call people on the phone and get them to essay people. And it was pretty much, this is something you just wanted to do, and this random voice on the phone gave you the permission. Elle gives me, you was already stalking the ex, and then you found this group that pretty much gave you permission to stalk the ex. Now, I talked about mixed feelings on Keely because she was a coach. We get testimony from another former member, Angie. Hold on, you know what? Before we even move into another story, let's check in with the comments. Book smart does not equate to common sense. You know what? I'm not a fan of the book smart versus street smarts, but Ethan ain't adding up with Elle because None of it makes it. I mean, is it just me? Like, none of her story makes sense to me. I believe it was a coincidence at all. Definitely a stalker. That's what it was giving me. And it was funny because they played a video. They had the ex-members like watch video of themselves from the classes. And when Elle asked get out of jail, she in the class and she trying to, Jeff is like, well, we have someone that's been gone for a month. Where have you been for a month? And she's trying to tell them what happened, right? And she tries to spin the same tale that she gave the documentary. Oh, I just so happened to be there. Baby, Jeff say, so you ain't know he was in the club, and Jeff just is laughing like, oh, you didn't know he was going to be there? So when she looking at the video while in the documentary, she tries to say, you see how he's trying to get me to admit that I was stalking just so he doesn't look guilty? And I'm sitting here like, Jeff is all the things Jeff is. But I believe in this instance, Elle, baby, it was you. But hey, I could be wrong. They continued to sell the dream because they didn't want to be ostracized from the group, I guess. Yeah, I get that motivation. That is a big part of it, that they didn't want to lose the community. I guess I just have a hard time understanding logically, if I wanted something so bad that I was willing to pay all this money, why am I okay with going along with the facade? Why am I okay with not getting what I signed up to get? That I just can't logically wrap my mind around that. Did you watch BS High? Never heard of it. What is BS High? I Want to Love has won. Mother of God. Yes, that's the one that is next up on my list. I will likely watch that over the Hulu one. Now, we have this lady Angie that joins the group. Keely is her coach. And Angie's testimony, or not testimony like they in court, but you know, the testimony that she gives on the documentary. The perpetrator of a lot of Angie's trauma was Keely. And I was trying so hard to keep some empathy for Keely, but it was wearing thin because she was victimizing people. Now, Angie has a coworker and they were really close. She felt a strong connection with him, and she ended up coming across, I want to know how everybody kept coming across the term twin flame online, because I have literally never heard that in my, everybody in the documentary just happened to, I had a strong connection with somebody. First of all, I have never had a connection with somebody and like Google connection with, I don't know, that was the whole route of how people found the group was something I just was not understanding, unless I'm just out some loop. Anytime I have liked somebody or had a crush or had a strong connection, I never thought, let me turn to Google. Now, I turn to Google for a lot of things. Why does my dog keep licking their feet? It like I Google a lot. I ain't never Googled, I got a strong connection with some, like that kept throwing me. But she had a strong connection with this coworker, so she decides to go online and she comes across the term twin flame. The algorithm was working in Jeff and Shalayla's favor because everybody that looked up the term came across their YouTube videos. So she ended up joining the classes. Now, her and the guy are real tight. He ends up inviting her to his parents' cabin to go hang out, right? And they're on the sofa watching a movie, and she decides to finally make a move. And she kisses the guy. And he kisses her back, but then he stops and says he can't do this. It's too weird. It feels like he kissing his sister. So pretty much this strong connection and tight bond and relationship where Angie like it's romantic. The other guy was feeling like it's just friendship. But I guess, you know, he did, but I guess the kiss kind of solidified for him This is just friendship. And I feel like that makes sense. I always say, I feel like that don't kiss on the first date rule is really stupid. You need to kiss. You need to know if this connection is platonic or romantic. Like, put your tongue down people's throat on the first, consensually. Okay? Put your tongue down the person's throat. Like, y'all need to find out. Like, why is we wasting time on? No, we need to kiss. First date. Like, first date. So he kissed the girl and he like, you know what? We need to just be friends. But the teachings of the TFU and Jeff is pursue your twin flame at any cost. It's pretty much like matchmaking meets by enemies, Malcolm X, like by enemies necessary, go after your twin flame. Come hell or high water. Now, what bothers my mind when I put myself in these people's shoes, if I say, okay, I'm looking for a connection, I go to these classes, I pay the money, and I'm all in, I'm listening. For me, it's too many conveniences. First of all, Jeff and Shalala are the only ones who can tell you what your name is. Then, conveniently, who they told you your twin flame was is not your twin flame. Now they declare new twin flame matches. And they're calling the original twin flame your false twin flame. Now, hold on now, baby. I am so confused why we went along with this. Because initially, we believed that Jeff and Shalala have this pipeline to God and spiritual world and the universe, whatever the hell. And they were the only ones that could tell us who our twin flame was. And I believed that this person was my twin flame because I believed Jeff and Shalala. So now you come tell me that was my false twin flame. The person I've been stalking for 2 years, the person that I spent all this energy on because you said that was my twin flame is now my false twin flame. And now you're just declaring, why should I listen to who you declare my new twin flame? Am I going to waste time stalking them for them to be a false? It just... And then as you go through the course, Jeff kept pulling people in to work for him. Because he would say God told him your divine purpose, and he would say it's to work for him. One girl was working 12-hour days not getting paid. Too many conveniences. It's too convenient, baby, that everybody in the group purpose is to work for you. How did nobody bat an eye? Now, as if all this wasn't crazy enough, we introduced something to the program called MAP, Mind Alignment Process. If Jeff couldn't get you with the twin flame stuff, he got you with this. And I wish we got, again, these are holes. I wish we got more information. Why this military officer who probably was working with like prisoners of war, getting government secrets out of people, why the hell she decided to come work with Jeff? Like, we never get an answer to this stuff. But some military lady comes to do this mind alignment program where they specifically target people with PTSD and trauma, so vulnerable people. And somebody in the documentary called it the mirror exercise on steroids. When you do the map, you go back to a traumatic event with the map code. Where the hell did this military lady come from? Why the hell was she working with Jeff? Now, we end up getting one of the doctors that I was talking about. It was like different doctors who specialize, whatever, coming in. Because the TFU thing is one thing. Okay? It's not like, yes, Jeff is manipulative. He playing mind games with people. He has power and control over these folks. But then you bring in a professional, and not just a professional, somebody that's military. I feel like, baby, if you government, you really finna F up people's mind. You trained to F up people's mind. So we have this doctor come in, and he tells us that many groups do this kind of introspective exercise that they say is to help you. Because remember, that's the first step. That's the whole beginning gimmick of the twin flame universe. They get you and hook you, and they say you're going to work on yourself. You're going to do work on yourself, right? We are going to help you get through trauma. And the doctor tells us that a lot of groups will try to do something like this. What they say is to help you, but it is actually designed to tear apart like yourself, like tear apart the self. And it is also a way to tear you from families. So we're already targeting people that are vulnerable. We're already targeting people that are mentally fragile. And under the guise of we are going to do something to mentally help you, it is actually not to help you. It is actually not to build you up. It is actually, it's like a Trojan horse. It is actually in place to tear you down. Now, Elle tells us, because she becomes a coach, Elle tells us that once they introduced the MAP program, they were then told how to go into support groups to fish for clients for this. Now, I question why the folks that came to TFU did not go try to seek real mental health professional help. Now we are going to target people who are in support groups and are actually trying to get real help to pull them into what we're doing over here. They play a video of Jeff talking to the coaches for them to go pull people in, right? And Jeff says, the internet is full of people with problems. And if you offer a solution, people will be lined up at your door to pay. And I'm sitting here like, babies, don't y'all understand? He talking about y'all. It was killing me when he said that, like, baby, he talking about y'all. This how he got y'all. Now, Jeff pretty much finds a way to line his pockets. We have the TFU. We have the MAP program. We got all the divine spiritual stuff. We got divine HelloFresh. We got like sweatsuits. Like he had everything. People was paying $100 for his little meal kit things. Just tons of spin-off businesses for Jeff and Shalala to make money. One lady tells us she spent $20,000 on becoming a coach. And nobody thinks anything when we see YouTube videos of Jeff and Shalayla showing off their Porsche, showing off their big house, the 85-inch TV, the pool with the jacuzzi, the lakefront property. They went from sleeping on friends, Jeff and Shalayla went from sleeping on friends' couches to a lakefront property in 5 years. And y'all giving them $20,000 and $2,000 and don't understand they getting rich off us. And that's the thing that be kind of killing me. We be scamming people. We don't even hide the riches. Like, you see us parlaying. Now, Keely gets named like CEO or something, but it's really only in title. And let me tell you, child, I be so annoyed when people be talking about taxes because the regular folk is the only ones really paying taxes. Like, the people with money be finding ways not to pay. Jeff gonna have Keely do research to figure out how he could pay the least amount of taxes. I need to be paying the least amount of taxes. Not who got a jacuzzi and a mansion and a Porsche. You the one need to pay money and get the roads paved, not me. My money don't need to be paving roads. Yours do. So Keely do the research, and they decide to turn the company into a religion. That way they don't have to pay people. And they start, like, what was it? The Divine Church of the Union or something like that, child. And this is that slippery, oh shoot, I keep hitting this thing. This is that slippery slope I was talking about, where it don't start crazy. Now, after they decide to start this church, Shalayla gets in class and say, I heard a voice. I saw images of Jesus. And it told me Jeff were those images. So now Jeff is Jesus. And he keeps going around saying how, look at the image and look at me and I look just like Jesus. First of all, I had a homeboy back in the day we used to call Jesus. You take any man with the facial hair, the long hair, and fair skin, he gonna look like white Jesus. Like, it ain't hard. I see a lot of white men like motherfucking white Jesus. But Jeff is able to convince and tell these people that he's Jesus. He got blue eyes and he got the look at me and look at that image of white Jesus they painted. Why I'm Jesus. Now, to a lot of people's defense, this is when some folks start leaving the group because the shit it got a little too crazy. Like, we ain't just matchmaking and doing that stuff. Now you telling folks you're Jesus. Now, let's jump back to Angie, who had the co-worker that she kissed and he told her, we just friends, I don't feel nothing for you. Angie is talking to claim that man in flame. Angie finds out he in a relationship with a man. Baby, that's why the kiss ain't do nothing for him. He gay. This should tell you how the people you are following don't know what they doing. Don't have the divine connection. The divine should have told them your man wanted a man. Like, this is so, the second my twin flame is laid up with a man, I believe you no more. You should have. Why did the divine not tell you that? No, when they find this out, Shalayla says, oh, he's avoiding the truth of who he is. He's not gay. He's meant to be with you. He's your twin flame. They could say anything. Why is you still listening? This is twin flame Brokeback Mountain. He ain't laid with you. He with Jake Jones. Like, why are you not computing that something ain't at? I completely understand falling for some stuff somebody say. But how the hell you keep falling when it ain't made? Like what they are saying ain't even, they're not even able. It's like somebody that ain't able to keep up with their lives. But you keep believing them. How can I claim someone that ain't even sexually attracted to your sex is your twin flame? And then my response is, oh, he's avoiding the truth. That's not real. Why the hell is, okay, I got, I can't talk like I talk in real life. I can't. But I just want to say, ain't no man finna pretend and be sucking on a popsicle if that ain't really what he want to be doing. How is he just avoiding the truth by licking on somebody's lollipop? That don't make, y'all is full grown people. This don't make sense. That is a hard facade for some straight man to keep up. Let me go avoid the truth for being with a woman and pretend and go have sex with a man. It don't make no sense. But Angie believed them. Angie believed them. And they go to tell her that her twin flame was acting feminine because she was taking his masculinity away. Bitch, I ain't nowhere near him. I kissed him and he ran off. And I've been trying to stalk him. So how am I taking his masculinity if I ain't nowhere near him? Jesus. I be trying to give these people grace. I really do. I'm trying not to call these people idiots. I really do. But how can I take a nigga masculinity that ain't even around me, that ain't returning my phone calls or texts or smoke signals in the sky? How can I, as a woman, be so masculine that I push my twin flame to go fuck a man? It just don't make sense. It just don't make sense. I don't care how masculine. I don't care if you freaking butch lesbian. You cannot make a man go be with a man. It don't make sense. I ain't no scholar on matters of sexuality, but it don't make sense. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, look, if you are a man that I had sex with a man only because you was denying the truth that you wanted to be with this woman, let me know, okay? Because I could be wrong. Maybe men is just having sex with men even though they don't want to and even though they ain't gay because the woman that they're supposed to be with is taking their masculinity. Maybe that's happening. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe women is taking the man masculinity and is leading him to have sex with a man. Okay. At this point, I guess we believe in anything. I could be wrong. Come on, man. Baby, I don't want to call people stupid. But at a certain point, I ain't go to Harvard, okay? I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. But I could tell you ain't no nigga pretending by having sex with a man. Like, they just not. I don't care what a woman do. Ain't no man finna go slob on a corn cob if that ain't where his heart is at. Like, it's just not going. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's move on. I'm sorry. But this threw me so bad. You're taking his masculinity. First of all, he ain't even taking my calls. So how am I taking his masculinity? Okay, let's move on. So in order for Angie to get her twin flame to stop yada yadaing with this other man, she decides, you know what? if I just put on bright lipstick, he'll stop taking his vacuum cleaner over to the other man. If I put on some perfume, he'll licking the Tootsie Pop. If I bring fresh flowers into the house, he'll stop going down south with that man. I ain't never heard of fresh flowers curing homosexuality, but maybe there are things that I don't know. Maybe fresh flowers is the cure. But that's what she starts to do. And Jeff and Shalala tell her that it is time for her to be more confrontational. So she sends this man, this gay man, because apparently the perfume did not cure him from wanting to suck a little. This man say he wanted to just in peace. She sends him a long text. Can you smell the flowers from over here? Can you get out of his balls and smell the flowers? I'm sorry. Get out of that man's lap and look at my bright lipstick. Are you cured yet? Baby, her twin flame responds to the text and call her delusional. Now, I don't know if he called her delusional because she thought perfume could cure him being gay, or if he called her delusional because she think he her twin flame. I don't know which one made her delusional, but it all makes her delusional. I ain't never heard of nothing like this in my life. This was insane. Poor Angie. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. You know, I could be wrong. There could be a man out there who has been released from his gayness because he smells some flowers. That could be. Look, I don't know everybody test. Now, the man calls her delusional. And Angie feels like her twin flame would never speak to her like that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So Angie don't believe that her twin flame wouldn't do something strange for a little piece of change. Angie don't believe that her twin flame won't, swallow a ball of yarn for a little fun. Angie don't believe that her twin flame wouldn't lay up with another man. But Angie don't believe that her twin flame would call her delusional. Now, Angie ends up getting shunned by Jeff and Shalala. And Angie decides to work hard to get back into their good graces, since they have delivered on so many promises for her. She is told that this is all a block she needs to work through if she wants her gay ass twin flame. The way Jeff would talk to these people, I got on my just be nice shirt. Let me be nice. Angie not an idiot. We're not gonna do that. I'ma just be nice. Now, hold on, let me check some comments. And then we're gonna get into the way that Jeff was talking to these folks, child. My guess would be he didn't want her ass and didn't know what else to do to wake her up. I'm talking about what else can I do besides not want your same sex? Like, what else could I possibly do? Right, Danny, that's what drew the line. That's why I'm sitting here like it wasn't being with the. No, that's what drew the line for her. Was that her twin flame would never call her delusional. Like, girl. But you know what? I ain't gonna hold you, Angie. I ain't even. Oh, wait, where's part one? When I was in high school, twin flame didn't always mean a romantic. Wait, Danny, how old are you? Because I have never in my life heard the term twin flame. I done heard about a twin and I done heard about a flame, but I ain't never heard of no twin flame. Where the hell have I been? When I was in high school, twin flame didn't always mean a romantic relationship. Sometimes it meant you just vibe really well with another person or more than one person, like we just click and are similar. But realistically, they ended not even talking to each other like 4 months later. Women leading men to have sex with other men happens all the time. Nikki, you're having a... Oh, you know, let me mirror that. Let me go do the mirror exercise. What the heck are you watching? Escaping Twin Flames docuseries, desperately seeking soulmate, escaping twin flames docuseries, one on Prime, one on Netflix. That is what we are discussing. Now, what is Waco? Waco. What is that? Waco, Texas? What was truly insidious is if you're not successful in your twin flame relationship, then somehow it's your fault, not that. Yes, what it was all so abusive. That's why I'm saying at the very beginning, when you pitched to me this mirror exercise, you don't have me because there is no way everything is my fault. Nigga hit you, choke you, essay you, call you delusional, want to sleep with a man, you supposed to mirror it all and somehow it's all your fault. It makes no sense. Like, it's not even logical. Jesus wouldn't need me to cough up all that money to find my soulmate and he get it right in one try, not saying, oops, wrong flame. This is other person is for you, no matter all the red flags they got. Yeah, look, I don't want to call nobody idiots. I meet Jesus. I say, hey, we in trouble, ain't we? I don't mean to laugh, but I'm trying, but it's like the more the stories was going on, I was like, y'all, I'm trying to give y'all a lot of grace. Like, it remind me of how much I used to cape for Tyrese, but then he really started doing some stuff that I was like, I'm trying, Tyrese. I'm trying, Black Tie. Like, I'm trying, Black Tie. I'm trying to be on your side, but you're making it hard. Like, I'm trying to ride with you, Angie. I'm trying to ride with all y'all, but you're making it hard. First of all, where's all this money coming from? Y'all, baby, that's what I said. That's what I said. I can't afford to go find my twin flame, apparently. Y'all got to spare $200, $2,000 to cough up every month or every session. Why not just travel to be happy and meet new people that way? We even had one girl who was 18 years old taking the classes, and she was 18, ain't really have a job, so she doing random stuff to get the money. Why one of the coaches tell her to sign up for her first credit card so she could pay for the classes? Messing up baby credit. Yes, Jeff as Jesus was hilarious. It was hilarious. A couple sleeping on a friend's couch, that is some good friend. Yes, Jeff and Shalala went to go live with Jeff's parents. They first got together. Jeff's parents kicks them out, which for me is more holes in the story that I needed filled in. Why did Jeff's parents kick them out? Now we know from the friend who let them crash with him that they were very strange, doing a lot of weird stuff. But I want to know why. It take more than being strange for your own parents to kick you the hell out. I mean, I would think. Hey, Equalizer. The government lady reminded me of the Duggars Shining Happy People. When Kobe said, I don't want Marley to tell me what to do, it threw up red flags. That whole relationship was toxic. Very, very toxic. Manipulation at its finest. You're not out the loop. I went and Googled that. Okay, because I thought that was, I have never heard of, I have a connection with somebody, let me Google it. That is really odd to me. Waco, Texas, it was another cult where the leader considered himself to be Jesus. Okay. Twin Flame is basically like a spiritual, souped up soulmate on steroids, basically. Your ultimate twin flame is like higher than a soulmate. It's like your other half. Now, we get into some video of how Jeff was talking to these people. And I thought you supposed to catch bees with honey and like sweet talk folks. Jeff would say things to these people like, you're the scum of the earth. You need to heal. This is all your fault. They also tell us that Jeff and Shalala would talk very abusive to each other and take their frustrations out on each other. And this is where my empathy kind of collides with the baby, we ain't have no common sense. Because you're using abusive language, you calling me names, and I'm supposed to do the mirror exercise. It don't make no sense. And anytime anyone would even try to speak up and say anything, Jeff would say stuff like, how dare you question your God? Now, hold on. I thought you was Jesus, not God. Because that's two different people. Now, we have the doctor who ends up explaining how in a control group like this, not just the leader is the one who does the abuse. Members and everyone become a perpetrator because you are groomed to go after each other, report on each other. The abuse becomes widespread and normalized. And I feel like it wasn't, from my view, necessarily happening from the members, but it was happening from the members that coaches. The coaches were definitely abusive. They were definitely just mini Jeff and Shalalas. That's why I got mixed feelings on Keely. Now, one girl that we don't hear from, she is still in the cult. We hear from her family. She has a twin sister and a mom that was on here talking about her. And I just can't imagine. Anytime you hear about twins, there is always such a bond and connection. That is your literal other half. I cannot fathom how this girl has abandoned her real twin for this cult. But it was really sad. And one of the ex-members was talking about the girl and saying how they were friends at the time, but since she was their coach, she had the upper hand. And she would get aggressive and make all the issues, because remember, we mirror everything. Now, what a lot just doesn't sit right with Elle in general. We already went through her story and all the holes in that. But One thing I gotta question with the people that were former members is their code of ethics. Not only did we become coaches and sell false dreams to people, not only did we become coaches and facilitate abuse, enable abuse, and be abusive ourselves, but then Elle starts to feel like, remember, she the stalker that went to jail. Elle starts to be piecing things together, feeling like stuff not right. She ends up getting fired, removed from everything, and then, like, from her title. She gets put in some kind of remedial coaching session, right? And she has to admit that she was wrong for calling out the abusive things that the coaches were doing and all the abuse that was going on in the group, right? And Elle said she's calling out abuse that's happening, but she was still down with the cause because coaching, remember, if she's a coach, she's also being abusive, facilitating abuse. And even though she's starting to open her eyes, which I don't think these people had the blinders on, they claim it. But anyway, she's starting to open her eyes to abuse, but she still stays down with them because coaching was her only source of income. I got to question your morals. I got to question the ethics of it, which is also, look, I ain't calling nobody no liar, but I'm just looking at the stuff that Elle presented to us in a documentary from her mouth. I got to question your ethics. You already gave me a shaky story about your stalking, so I ain't calling you a liar, but I'm... And then you willing to abuse other people for money. Baby, you said you was in a lab curing cancer before this group. You could go get another job. But she is choosing her income over the being. And then one day she wakes up and she is completely shunned from the group. And that is the moment she says, oh, F them, all the gloves are off and I'm finna expose them. I'm not saying what you exposing is not factual, but I gotta question your ethics. You're not exposing them out of the goodness of your heart because you had blinders on and you saw stuff was wrong and you could no longer in good conscience be a part of things. No, you couldn't still be a part of things as long as you was getting paid. But the second you weren't getting paid, then she says, oh, the gloves were off and it was F them. So you mean to tell me if they had not ostracized you, you would still be in the group getting your checks? I don't like that. I don't like that. But I will say I like them including Elle in the documentary because of victim blaming culture and how we always kind of look at victims and want to question, like, are they lying? Are they telling the truth? What, like, can we pick something they've done? Victim don't mean you're perfect. You could be a terrible human being. That does not negate you from being victimized. So I like that we included Elle for the nuance of the type of victims that we see. Victim don't mean you never did nothing wrong. Victim don't mean you weren't a perpetrator yourself. Victim don't mean you just are of high moral standing. Victim just means somebody victimized you. Don't mean you ain't do other stuff. And Elle, for me, is a prime example of that. Victimized the guy she was goddamn stalking, even though he a piece of crap for, abandoning the woman you supposed to love when she get in a car accident, but that's neither here nor there. That's on a lower scale of your ethics. That ain't good at lower scale than Elle stalking and being a complicit and abusing people. But I believe the stories from L of what was happening in the group. The stories about the stalker situation is a little shaky. But L, babe, I gotta question the ethics. Like now, child, they start kicking L out. And remember when Jeff started saying he white Jesus, people was dipping out. So now they have somebody in the group that's security. And they literally have a spreadsheet of full first and last name plus social media account. They got a damn government watch list with like 310 names. That was insane. Like, how are we operating in this group, but we think this stuff? No, like groups don't do that. Like you don't have a government watch list. Like, what the hell? They already think something is wrong with them, so just spewing all those terrible things to them gives them an identified flaw to fix on in order to get better and eventually earn love. 1000%, which is exactly why the trap of that mirror exercise works, because you're dealing with people who have probably already blamed themselves for trauma and abuse and things that happen to them. But then they get told, hey, but I can help you fix it. But and when they're told I can help you fix it, I feel like they're probably taking it as fix themselves because I caused the trauma. So now if I go to Jeff, he'll help fix me. So then I won't cause trauma. So then when anything happens, it's your fault and you just ain't doing the work. Because if you do the work, I can fix it and you won't. Like, it's a whole crazy cycle. That's easier for them to accept than sweet talk because they are already suffering from low self-esteem and think poorly of themselves because they ended alone and on this platform looking for love. 1000%. I definitely feel like anybody fall into the abusive relationship dealing with a cult and a situation like this is definitely the people that are not of sound mind, not of high self-value, not of high self-esteem that are going to be the ones that get targeted. So what I thought was interesting is, remember, Jeff and Shalala suddenly says, oh, the person we declared your twin flame is not your twin flame. That is your false twin flame, right? So then they start questioning, I've done all this inner work, still nothing is working because I have been experiencing everything with a false twin flame. They're like blaming themselves. And I'm just sitting here confused, like, no, Jeff the one told you that was your twin flame. Now, people in the group do start getting to a point of starting to not believe Jeff and Shalala, starting to not be under their spell because people are not getting what they were sold. So Jeff and Shalala changed the rules that your twin flame had to be in the group in order for you to have harmonious union. Remember, they didn't have to be in the group before. But again, I'm questioning how we are not questioning how when things don't go Jeff and Shalala way, they get to suddenly change the rules. You can't keep changing the goalposts. Like, that's not how this should work. Now, this is when we get into some real crazy territory. Now, the only twin flame matches can only be in the group. The group is primarily women. Jeff starts telling people to align with either masculine or feminine energy, that you cannot be both. Jeff is only matching people with twin flames within the group. The group is mainly heterosexual women looking to partner with men. The group is mainly women. Y'all do the math on that. Jeff is trying to match the group. The group is mainly heterosexual women looking to match with men, but we can only match with people in the group. What the hell y'all think Jeff decides to do? How do you match heterosexual women that's looking for men with what y'all think? We have this doctor that comes in and is telling us that because they have topics of transgender, so but it's coerced positioning that is going on. So they end up having like this trans doctor who I didn't even know he was trans. I thought he was just a man. He looked good. I could not tell at all. But he goes to tell us that because they basically, what I feel, they wanted to take a stance of kind of standing up for a true like trans identity process as a trans process that is coerced. But the professor was telling us that gender is something you can explore, like your gender identity is something you can your own, it's something you're to discover. So hearing that Jeff and Shalala are telling people like what you must do and how you like should be expressing and identifying your gender, that it is basically just another tool of control and power. Now, we got to get back to Angie when we talk about this whole Jeff finna be matching up women with women, but women can't be matched with women. Women got to get matched with men, but we only got women to match. We got to get back to Angie. Now, y'all remember they told Angie that her twin flame hopped on the tricycle, hopped on a three-legged tricycle because she was too masculine and she needed to work on her feminine energy. So now they go to tell her she needs that the God told them that her divine nature is masculine. And why are we not questioning information being given? First, y'all told me how I needed to be more feminine, and y'all was trying to tell me to put on perfume and bright lipstick and have fresh flowers because I needed to express my femininity. But now y'all tell me that y'all are being told by the universe that I'm actually a divine baby, when did I become masculine? Because you just had me trying to be I just don't get how we don't understand how stuff is contradicting each other and how Jeff and Shalala are just changing the rules all willy-nilly. Jeff and Shalala tells the Twin Flame universe that the way Twin Flame works is a feminine and a feminine cannot be a Twin Flame match. A masculine and a masculine cannot be a Twin Flame match. A Twin Flame match can only be a divine feminine and a divine masculine. And Keely comes in as coaches. They had to teach the work of Jeff and Shalala. And she says we had to teach it even if it didn't sit right with us. This is where them ethics come into play, forcing female members to become trans men. So Jeff and Shalala sold this dream to people that if you take this class, you will end up with your twin flame harmonious union. And as that was not happening, people were starting to not buy into it. So then they changed the rules and they say your twin flame match can only be someone within the group. The previous twin flames that we declared are false twin flames. And they end up channeling, they said in a documentary that Jeff and Shalala would do something called channeling, and that was supposed to be God, the universe, whatever, telling them who everyone's twin flame was. So they end up channeling 20 new twin flame matches. And you have a group comprised of predominantly women that are looking to match with men. And when they do the 20 new twin flame pairings, half of the women are told you are actually divine masculine and you need to change your name to a male name. You need to change your pronouns to male pronouns. And even so far as to have top surgery and actual like surgery transition to men. This is when the trans woman leaves the Twin Flames universe because she did not think that it was right for Jeff and Shalala to assign gender to every woman that they are telling, oh, you know, God told us you're divine masculine, you're supposed to be a man. They were all just heterosexual women. Like, they did not come to this conclusion on their own. Jeff and Shalala, and not only didn't they come to the conclusion on their own, Jeff and Shalala pretty much like browbeats them to become men. You going to go against God? This is what God told me, and the man you supposed to be Dan, and all this whole stuff that they was doing. And Keely went along with this, was calling up the clients that she was coaching and getting those women to change to men. Angie ends up being told that her real twin flame, after she made a mockery of herself and stalked the co-worker who she was originally told was her twin flame, she told that her twin flame is a woman in the group named Angela. Excuse me. Her twin flame is a woman in a group named Angela, and that Angie is actually divine masculine and needs to change to a man. After Angie spent all that time and energy stalking the co-worker, trying to get her femininity in the way that Jeff and Shalala told her it needs to be expressed, now she's told you need to be a man. Victoria is told that she is divine masculine and needs to be a man, and that her twin flame is a woman. And her response to Keely is like, a woman, but I'm a lesbian. And Keely is like, no, you're not a lesbian because you're actually a man. And Victoria is like, well, I didn't have a way out of that. I feel so sad for these people. Like, I cannot imagine having surgery and becoming a man because y'all is browbeating me to do it. Victoria documentary, and she's telling us that in that moment, and this is why I say Keely victim, but some of the victims, Keely's victim. Keely is this woman to change to a man, and Victoria is saying how in that moment she felt like how much power, because she's finna go down with it, but she's like, well, wait, how much power have I given these people where they can say who I am? So this was kind of like everybody had different moments when crazy stuff was happening. Jeff calling him Jesus, where they would leave. This was that moment for Victoria, was them trying to get her to be a man. That is when she left the group. Angie is getting pressured by Keely as well to change to a man. Members do end up leaving the group with the whole sexuality thing. Not sexuality, well, I guess sexuality, because if you're a woman and they're trying to put you with a woman, but the whole gender trans thing, getting women to change to men so that Jeff and Shalada could do their matches. Now, you have women being given the haircuts, being assigned male names, and doing all this stuff. And Angie is in a documentary about how because she was going through the transition to be a man. And she's saying how she was forced to make a lot of changes very quickly. Keely, who was facilitating a lot of this as Angie's coach, crying in the interview was kind of irking me. I gotta be honest. And I sympathize with Keely, but at the same time, I wasn't buying some of the stuff she was selling. When they are going over this whole forcing people to be trans and how Keely was forcing people to be trans, she's in the interview crying and she's saying, I didn't realize it was abuse. What did you think it was? But she also says, oh, I knew these people really didn't have a choice because, you know, they didn't want to do it, but they knew if they didn't, they would be kicked out. They would lose everything they worked for. But you didn't know it was abuse, but you knew that people would do things they didn't want to do because they were scared of getting kicked out the group. Baby, that sound to forcefully change your whole gender orientation from birth meant a whole new level of desperation I can't even fathom. If it smells like a cult and sounds like a cult, correct. I really am. Like, I literally don't even want to finish this. Like, I truly don't. Like, I'm so over this. I'm really so over it. What y'all want to talk about? Because I don't want to talk about this no more. I truly don't. Like, I'm so done. I don't even know what to say because I don't even want to talk about this no more. Like, I'm over it. I'm so annoyed with this Wi-Fi. And I have like, I don't know, 20 minutes to 40 minutes left of topics here in my notes. And I don't feel like doing that because I'm going to talk for 10 minutes and then the Wi-Fi going to mess me up. And then I'm going to talk for 10 minutes and then the Wi-Fi going to mess me up. You know what? This must be Jeff channeling his damn divine devil and messing up what I'm trying to do. I'm just ready to go ahead and move because I'm annoyed. And I hate when you do stuff and it like mess you up and you be like, I should have never did it because these niggas came AT&T to upgrade my Wi-Fi. In order for them to upgrade the Wi-Fi, they had to move my little, like, you know, the little box that actually gives your signal. So where they moved it to is to the back of the, and I'm like, my townhouse ain't that big. It's like 1,200 square feet. It ain't like it's gigantic. So I don't understand why it don't just go everywhere. But they moved it far from where my setup is. And they basically said, I need to pay for an extender. I think that's what it was called. I jotted it down. I need to pay for an extender, or I need to move and live stream from near the Wi-Fi box. I'm not finna do that. It is a whole setup. I got a green screen behind me. I got the lights in front of me. I got a desk. I got all kind of cords and mic hook. I'm not carrying all this to another place. I'm not doing it, especially because I literally moved in 2 months. It's December 7th. I moved February 7th. Or 8th, whatever the hell that, what is it, a Thursday? I'm not going through all that, child. I'm not doing it. But I feel like the Wi-Fi is like getting worse because normally it don't be this many screw ups. The only reason that I'm gonna continue this topic is because I've been for 3 hours. So I can't just do 3 hours over again. I don't even know what the hell I said. I ain't doing all that over again. But I'm just finna go through. I ain't finna go through every topic bullet point that I have on here. I'm just not. It's some notes I have. I ain't even finna hit. I'm not even finna hit it. We're just finna quickly wrap this up because I'm annoyed. I'm finna skip that topic. I'm trying to figure out which topic I'm gonna actually. We just finna really jump to the end. Okay, as if Jeff and Shalala do not have enough people to control, they start to speak of this daughter that they will have that Shalala talks to in the spirit realm. And they say how the daughter will be celibate. She will have no sexual partners. She will be their third twin flame. And then we get a shaky story about Shalane pregnant with this baby who they kept calling Grace. But then she terminates the pregnancy. And when she tells the group, like, whole story, really odd reasons. And she, like, Jeff is trying to say what the doctor said, but then Shalala cuts him off and said, well, I'm going to say what the doctor, it was, I don't know what happened surrounding that. But we do find out at the end of the docuseries that their child Grace was born. They, I think 2023. So poor her. Seriously, she's born into this cult, these wackos. Jeff also ends up buying this plot of land, and he has a plan for everyone to move there because that's what cults do. And he wants everyone to have babies, and you would have golden children, and they would be twin flames for other golden children. And the couples who were not one male, one female, but they were the trans man and female, would get a donor, and Jeff would be choosing the donor for people. Jeff and Shalala were the only ones who could decide who was worthy of having kids. And one of the criteria was you had to have an income of at least $10,000 a month. And this was another point where I was looking at Keely sideways because her and Kobe qualified at the 10K a month, but she lied when it came to reporting her income. So this was something you did not want to do. You lied. You did not report your actual income, which tells me you had the wherewithal to not abuse and manipulate people. You had the wherewithal to do this, then you had the wherewithal to know that forcing people to be trans and all that stuff that was going on with the coaching and all the abuse, you had the wherewithal to lie for this. You should have had the wherewithal for that. So it's like I hurt when she was crying, and she would keep saying, I really thought I was helping people. No, you didn't. Like I said, at the very beginning, when she brought her sister on, yes, I can buy, and I do believe that at that point, at the very beginning, you did genuinely think you were helping people. But that was a long time ago. When it came to her abusing Angie and all the other people she was like coaching, that was not I really thought I was helping people. Like, it just wasn't. But she goes to tell us that telling that first big lie was a turning point for her. And that was when she realized she could rebel against them. Now Now, Jeff ends up telling them to watch Seduced and the Vow and write an essay on why he not a cult leader. But every point that they kept making and coming across in the research kept pointing to the fact that he was, in fact, a cult leader. But I'm going to get into that topic. But basically, stuff finally starts to dawn on Keely, how much she was suffering. She went to Kobe to say that she's realizing this is a cult and they need to leave. So Keely and Kobe decide that they cannot leave without Marley. So they drive to the state that she's at. And when they go to Marley, Marley is rightfully so upset at them wanting to leave. And Marley says that Keely and Kobe said that they were going to leave and they thought, they wanted her to leave with them. But her initial thought was, I just spent 3 years of my life a lie. Like, she says that if she were to leave with them, it would mean that the man she lived with for 3 years and thought was her twin flame was actually not her twin flame. He was just a random man she was forced to be with. And her saying that honestly kind of took me by surprise, because he is literally a random man you were forced to, like, that is exactly what he was. But I guess for her, she was under the he's my twin flame. And I do sympathize with Keely. Her guilt does seem genuine. She brought Kobe into this. She brought Marley into this. I can't even fathom what Marley went through living with this strange man with all them issues, and that was violent and aggressive and for 3 freaking years. And Marley goes to tell us that it was hard for her to continue a relationship with Keely, even though that's her sister, because Keely was a part of facilitating a lot of the traumatic things that Marley went through. Keely was the abuser for Marley, for Angie, for a lot of people in the group. She was the one that was abused. Like, she was the perpetrator. So Marley and Keely have not talked since they left the group. And rightfully so on Marley's side. Like, I get it. And they talk about finally leaving the group and needing to learn how to think for themselves, figure out who they were for themselves, because someone had been thinking for them and telling them. Now, Angie also ends up eventually leaving the group. And it seems like stuff started to really switch for people with the whole forcing people to do the gender change. A lot of people started leaving around 2019. 2019 to 2021 seemed to be the catalyst for most of the people leaving. And honestly, when Angie finally left, I just feel like people take off blinders when they're ready for them to come off. Because the straw that breaks the camel's back for these people to leave, honestly, for me, kind of don't make no sense. Like, it wasn't all them things before. But people take off blinders when they're ready for them to come off. People leave, but the group is still pretty much going strong. And the members that have left are scattered, not communicating, but are trying to figure out a way to kind of bring the group down. And I was very much, honestly, as I was watching, I was kind of very Keely. And when she was crying and talking about, I didn't know it was abuse, it was pissing me off. But then we end up seeing Keely having a conversation with this lady who saw something she was posting about TFU on TikTok. They have a conversation. And this was the first time that Keely felt genuinely remorseful for me. This was when I actually started feeling pretty like bad when it came to Keely. They're having a conversation, and instead of Keely doing the whole, I thought I was helping people, she says, I have to accept that I have hurt people. Like, I just feel like that's what I wanted her to do. Like, don't say, oh, I thought I was helping people. Oh, I didn't know. Like, just say, I hurt people. Like, just So when she was sitting having that conversation with that lady, it really felt genuine. It felt like she was really taking accountability. I just really wanted her to stop saying, I thought I was helping people. No, the hell you didn't. Now she ends up sitting down with Angie, who didn't want nothing to do with her, but they finally get together. And she did seem very sincere when she was talking to Angie. Now, I'm just going to kind of jump to the end. I like what the trans doctor was saying. He was saying how he hopes that people watching this documentary, watching the horrors that Jeff and Shalala are doing, come to realize that they have a lot in common with the trans community, because as trans people, they want everyone to have ownership of their own body and be able to present themselves and find love as who they really are. And that what Jeff and Shalala are doing is the opposite of that. And if you have a true sense of self and have true ownership and autonomy, that's a threat to Jeff and Shalala's business. I like how we did this documentary because I feel like this is an unconventional, in my opinion, from the things that I see with cults, this is kind of an unconventional setup for a cult. And I feel like that's why so many people fell into it and didn't know there were a cult. We're not all gathered in space. We're not all living in some place on some compound. This is all over Zoom. Like all of this control and all of this stuff that's happening is over damn Zoom classes. They did meet up in person a few times, but this is basically years of stuff happening with you over. I also liked at the end the twin sister and mom, who daughter / sister is still stuck in this cult. They're still fighting for her, and the sister says, I will never stop fighting for my sister to come home, because that's true love. That's unconditional. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to work to, receive real love. And I like when she did that, because the whole nature of what these people are buying into is that there is work they have to do to earn getting their twin flame. But I feel like there is no work you have to do. There is no changes you have to make. Like, you just are deserving of love. So I like that they ended off with the sister like saying no matter, because I'm gonna be honest with you. My twin sister dip on me and go to a cult and don't want nothing to do with me, I'm gonna wash my hands. Like, but her family is still fighting for her. Everything just kind of, I'm fumbling because I'm kind of skipping over some notes. We didn't really get a conclusion for like stories. Elle was running around like the girl on Swim Fan stalking people. And once she's ostracized, now she's on a mission to kind of bring the group down. But we really I don't know what the hell was going on with Elle, where everything goes with her. I do wish we could have deep dived into stuff a lot more. We get a lot of testimony from moms, like people that are in there, but I would have liked to deep dive more into familiar relationships pre-cult. I wish we would have deep dive more. One parent has a conversation with the child that's in the cult, yells and tells them to get out. And she's telling a story on the documentary, and she's like, I came back in the room and they were just gone, and she never saw him again. And the interviewer is like, but you told him to get out. And she's like, yeah, I said that, but like, I guess she said it out of anger. She didn't really want the child to like get out. But that just makes me feel like it's more to the story. It's more to these familiar relationships prior to these people joining the cults. You know what? I skipped over it, but let me tell y'all this crazy, wacky stuff. Now, remember Angie and the co-worker, and anytime people would join the Twin Flame universe, you would already have a crush or something with somebody. and Jeff and Shalala would be like, oh, that's your twin flame, and be getting you to stalk them. Baby, one lady is telling the story, and she's in the documentary. She's telling the story about the person that is supposed to be her twin flame, right? We get the video of her talking to Jeff. Like, I just feel really hurt because he made his ex pregnant for a second time, and I just didn't expect that because I really thought he would, make us a couple soon because that's my twin flame. And I'm saying, like, girl, wait, your twin flame you're upset and hurt because your twin flame made his girlfriend pregnant for the second. Y'all, a girlfriend he had been with for 14 years. I'm just and the lady is in the documentary. And I just feel like we don't conclusions because it is, I don't see the documentary ending and Elle or that crazy lady. I don't see them being like coming to like a realization. I just feel like where's the conclusion? Did y'all get a moral to the story? Like, do you understand how psychotic it was that you felt like you was hurt because your twin flame, who's in a relationship with a woman for 14 years, got her pregnant? I don't know if any lessons were learned at all. But I will say it's kind of disheartening that there is nothing to be done legally. The police end up trying to do an investigation. They talk to Jeff, but running a cult in and of itself is not illegal. They come to the conclusion that Jeff and Shalala have an online business and people can buy the product or opt out of buying the product. And that's like the end of the police investigation. So even though Jeff and Shalala are manipulating people, conning people, brainwashing people, like coercing people, there is nothing to be done legally. I'm like, y'all can't get them niggas on tax evasion or nothing. They just get away scot-free. And I really feel like this will probably be one of those 20, 30 years go by and they're going to just die millionaires and they're never going to get their comeuppance. Because apparently running a cult is not illegal. What they're doing is not illegal. They came to the conclusion they're selling the product and people can buy it or they cannot buy it. And when one of the family members tries to call the police about their sibling or daughter being there, the first thing that the operator say is, well, is she being held against her will? And the family member tries to say, well, I don't know if being coerced is really your will, but technically you're not being like physically held somewhere. So there's really nothing the police can do. I also found it interesting that Jeff and Shalala don't just isolate people from their family. Jeff and Shalala cut themselves off from their family. They isolated themselves off from their family. That lifelong childhood best friend that let them crash in his house, he never like kicked them out, if I remember correctly. They go to do their whole TFU thing and cut the friend off cold turkey and cut their whole family off cold turkey. And at this moment, Twin Flame still going strong. They have, like, I think they said when they started, they had like around the start of these articles and investigation, they had 14,000 members. Right now, currently, they have 40,000 members and new members joining all the time. Humans are lonely and desperate. Jeff and Shalala got a huge YouTube channel. Like everything is working in their favor, but they also tell us at the end of the documentary that over 10,000 cults are operating in the US and are internet-based cults that have rapidly increased since the pandemic. Humans are lonely and desperate. And I like when one of the investigative journalists tells us spirituality is a great business because you do not need any credentials. Institutionalized religions are on the decline, and people are looking for some kind of meaning, gathering, community. And Jeff and Shalala are offering that. Now, I feel like it's really easy to look at these people and not really see a cult, not really see the control, because everybody that is giving testimony about finally leaving literally just exits the Facebook group, literally just shuts the computer, just blocks them. Like, that's leaving the cult. And that sounds super simple. Shut the computer off, exit the group. But it was the threat of losing a community, losing your twin flame that you ain't even really got, but the hope of getting a twin flame. And I feel like some people stayed because they were embarrassed or ashamed to do all this, and they have to run back to family to be like, I was wrong. I feel like it is very important to not care about looking stupid. I can be very gung-ho about something, but if something changed, I have like, yeah, I was wrong by that. I be running around here all the time saying I'm never getting married. But baby, if I pop up engaged, then I pop up motherfucking engaged. Like, that's my prerogative. And I really feel like because one person was like really depressed, unhappy, but was not going back home. And I feel like it is that whole, you don't want to be embarrassed. You made something, you proclaim something, it's not working out the way you thought. Okay. We signing off. I'm done. I got nothing left to give. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys are supporting, but yeah, we are we're done. Ending thought. I don't agree with the sentiment where if you fall for something, if you get scammed, then you're an idiot, and to hell with whatever happens to you as a result of you being an idiot. I think that we should have more compassion and empathy. I think that everybody is capable of being manipulated and coerced, and it happens every day, just on a small scale. But yeah, I'm pretty much over this. I got nothing. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I am so done. I guess I'll try and read a few comments, and then I'm just going to end stream. Thank you. Thank you. This is the only time when free will is recognized to the fullest extent, and it pisses me off 1000%. They're also callous enough to not care. They've come this far. That child will only be kind to them. And yes, it is messed up. That's messed up. I thought they just do genetic engineering. I mean, they're rich enough to afford it. Maybe the first pregnancy they terminated was a boy, and they didn't plan that. That could very well be it, because telling everyone it was a girl they were talking to in the spirit realm. It had to be a daughter, not a son. Yes, because they kept telling everybody it was Grace. Weird how they specifically target and use girls to solidify their lives / image of purity when the exact opposite is going to go down. Abuse is sure to come. And also talking about abuse is Jeff kept calling himself God. And when he said that his daughter would be celibate, he said the only person she could be with was God. So that was very odd. I cannot for the life of me figure out why the government, FBI, hasn't declared these wackos a cult yet. Yeah, and local police did forward everything they had to FBI to see if there was anything federal. like federal crime, but nothing has come of it. I believe these repairmen don't know what they're actually doing. It's a quick fix, but they know you'll be calling them back. Like nobody actually fixing. No, nobody. I have literally contacted the guy like 7 times. Then they sent out finally after 7 times they sent out a technician, and all the technician could say was, "Well, you need to get an extender." So I'm just kind of like, "Yo, screw y'all." Hey, Danny, glad you was laughing. Talk about it. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm annoyed. F YouTube. Like, I mean, not even YouTube because it's my Wi-Fi, but just F everything. Thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for supporting.